So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us at the Welcome to the Spring campaign. This is the introductory webinar for the Welcome to the Spring campaign. And the aim of this webinar is to introduce you the activities that we prepared for you for this campaign, to present you some additional resources that you can get from the campaign, some inspiration that might be useful on the way, and also to answer your questions. If you have any, please feel free to ask us either in the chat anytime during the webinar, or at the end of the presentation. You can also unmute yourself and ask us anything. There will be space for that. Okay, so this campaign is an annual campaign in the GLOBE program that is prepared by the GLOBE Europe and Eurasia Regional Coordination Office, which is a small team of 4 people. Today here with me is my colleague Lenka Kleger, who will also share with you some information, and will also be the technical support for the webinar. Then you might also know my colleagues Dana Votapkova and Bara Semarakova, who are not here today, but you might know them from other campaigns or activities, and myself, Csilla Barkász. And I know that a lot of you are already experienced observers. You might have already joined the campaign, either the spring campaign or the autumn campaign, for many years. But I'm also curious how many of you are newcomers, how many of you are joining the campaign for the first time this year. So I would like to ask you to raise your hand if you are new in the campaign, if you are here for the first time. You can either raise your hand on the video, or find this icon, raise your hand, and let's see. Okay, so I can see quite many of you. Hope you will like it, hope you will enjoy the campaign, and hope it will be inspiration for you and for your students. Okay. As you might already know, the campaign has started, and it will run all the way through June, like let's say the mid of June. And the aim of the campaign is discovering how trees are changing during spring in our region, to gather some data and share this data with each other and with the GLOBE scientists, for whom it will be a great use, of course. And also you will find activities that will help you get to know not only the tree that you observe during spring, but also your surroundings, the place where you live. So you might find out some interesting information about that as well. And importantly, it is a great opportunity for you and for your students to get outside during spring, to spend time outdoors, in nature, on the fresh air, and to have fun. It's not only about data and learning, but also about entertainment and having fun together. And the campaign is also about sharing information, sharing data. I will get to that, how to do that exactly later on. And there will be also opportunity for you to cooperate, either with some school teams in your country, in your city, or even internationally. You can find a cooperation partner in some other country in Europe or Eurasia. I will explain later how can you can do that. Okay. What is included in a campaign? You will receive activities which are divided into 4 green up activities, 4 carbon cycle activities, and there will be 2 additional activities, one about calculating the height of your tree, and another about the effect of trees on urban heat islands. And this might seem a lot to you, but it is important for you to know that all the activities are voluntary. So you just do as many of them as you have time for, or as many as you can include in your schedule, in your curriculum. And the most important activities are the 4 green up activities. You can try to do that, and if you have time, also get to the other activities. The activities will be sent to you by newsletter. The first 2 of them we already sent to you in the first newsletter. The other ones you will receive later on in the campaign. Then the campaign has a discussion forum. This is the platform where you can share your experience, your data about trees, your photos, and also the place where you can get inspired by the findings of other tree observers. You can check what trees they are observing and what they found out about them. Then you will have the opportunity to join 2 more webinars within the campaign. I will tell you more about them later on. Importantly, you can receive awards for your active participation. If you are active in the campaign, meaning that you share your results on the discussion forum, or you upload data in the GlobeGov database, then you receive a certificate from us at the end of the campaign. And this year, you might know that this year we celebrate the 30th birthday of the GLOBE program. So on that occasion, you can also earn a 30 years of GLOBE badge for your activities. Okay, so now I'm going to present you the 4 green up activities one by one. The first one will be about finding a tree, and the last activity will guide you through how to enter the data that you found out about your tree to the GLOBE database. So let's see these activities one by one. Yeah, the first activity is really easy and short. It's about finding your tree, as I already mentioned, finding a suitable tree that you will observe during spring. So what is a suitable tree? Importantly, it should be close to your school. It is because you need to observe this tree regularly, ideally twice a week. So it is important that you don't have to walk miles and miles far away somewhere to your tree, but it has to be really close to the school so that you can do your observations regularly. Then your tree should have a low south-facing branch that is so low that you can actually reach it, that you can actually grab it, touch it. Yeah, this will be the branch with the buds and leaves that you will observe. Then importantly, find a tree that is not shaded by any building. So we say that ideally the distance of your tree to any building should be at least the height of the tree. In this first activity, we ask you to describe your tree, to tell us what species of tree you are observing, to tell us some data about the site where it grows, to share the coordinates, maybe the altitude where it grows. And also we would be happy to see your tree, so you can use the Grow app for taking pictures about your tree, and you can share it on the discussion forum. And here down on my side, you can see 7 species of trees that we recommend to observe. The reason why exactly these species is quite simple. It's because these species are growing all over in our region, in Europe and Eurasia. So in case you want to compare your data with another team or even cooperate with another team, you will be able to find someone who is actually observing the same tree species as you do. But in case there is no such tree growing in your surroundings next to your school, you cannot find any of these species next to your school, don't worry about it. Then just find any tree that is growing close to your school that is more important. But it has to be a deciduous tree. So no evergreens, just a deciduous tree. That's also important. Okay, so I think that's it for activity 1. And yes, it's important to start this activity already now, as spring is already in full bloom. It's already happening. Trees are developing buds, so go for it. Start your observations. And now we get to activity 2. The activity 2 is about the buds. You will need to find 4 buds that you want to observe. Again, on a branch that is low enough that you can actually mark it in some way. You can put some colorful ribbon on your branch. Like here, you can see this. This is a photo from a team from the previous campaign. They marked their branches with some colorful ribbon. Or here on the other picture, you can see another team who marked their branches with nail polish. So there are different ways to do that. Colorful ribbon, paper, marker, nail polish. It's important to recognize your buds, the buds that you are observing. We ask you to observe these buds 2 times a week, and also to record your observations in this green up data sheet that you can see on my slide. You will enter here the date, the day and the months of your observation, and also you will enter the state of your bud. Now, in the beginning, you will find that your bud is very small and it's probably not changing. Then you will mark in the data sheet dormant. So it's the tree is still sleeping, the bud is still in a dormant phase. Now, once you observe that your bud is growing, that it's swelling, then you will know that the tree is waking up, and you will mark, or you will write here in the data sheet swelling. And with time, you will see that the bud is bursting, and once you see the tip of a green leaf coming out of the bud, you will write down here in the sheet bud burst. And this will be the end of activity 2, the observation of buds. You might also find interesting to look at weather conditions, because as you know, temperature and precipitation affects a lot how fast the trees are waking up during spring. So if you have the possibility, if you have an atmosphere site nearby, then you can even observe the weather conditions, and you might find some interesting correlations between the green up of your tree and the weather. Okay, so that was it for activity 2, I believe. Activity 3 will guide you through measuring or observing the leaves and measuring the length of your leaves. You can do that with the help of a ruler. It's important to measure the leaf from the bottom of this leaf, so where the stem ends until the tip of the leaf. So do not include the length of the stem in the measurement. And again, we will ask you to do this twice a week until your leaves stop growing. Okay. And the final green up activity will be about working with how to work with your data, because by then you will have a lot of measurements, of observations and data about your trees. And at the end of the campaign, we will ask you to actually share it with others in the GlobeGov website. You can do that if you have a Globe account. So many of you who already participated in the campaign know how to do that. Now, if you are new to the campaign and if you do not have a Globe account, then please reach out to your Globe country coordinator to create that account for you and to introduce you to the database. But this activity 4 will include a very detailed step-by-step guide on how to enter data into the database. So do not worry about it too much. It will be easy once you have this guide, once you receive this activity from us. It will be easy for you to share your data. And the database, the GlobeGov database, offers you a wonderful tool that is called the Globe Visualization tool that you can see here on my slide. If you enter your data and you use this tool, you can see your data on a map of the world. And if you click on this little icon, funny little icon on this map, you will find the information about the tree that was observed. And sorry, I just pushed the wrong button. Yeah, about the place, about the team that observed it, and also you can see a beautiful graph about how your tree developed, or the leaves or the buds developed during spring. And you can also compare this data with other schools in the campaign, or even to data from previous campaigns if you are interested about some changes over the years, or differences between how or when trees wake up in different years. So this was one way to enter the data. And the other one is via the Globe Observer app, which is a very easy to use app that is available on Android and iOS as well. If you open the app, here on the home screen of the app, you will have the tab Data Entry. If you click Data Entry, you will see all the Globe protocols. You will need to select the Biosphere protocols. And under that, you will find green up. And once you mark that, you will be able to enter your data in quite a similar way as on the website. And again, do not worry about how to do it, because you will get all the steps in activity 4 at the end of the campaign. And if you have any issues with that, you can always reach out to us, and we can guide you through. Okay. So that was all about the activities. And now I want to tell you a few things about the Grow app, which is a very popular app. Students like it a lot, and it allows you to create time-lapse videos about the changes in your tree. You can download this app either to your iPhone or Android. It's easy to use. It's free, and every time you visit your tree, you can just take a photo with this app, and the application will automatically create a time-lapse video. So you will have a nice memory from this campaign about your tree. And you can also watch pictures and videos of other teams within the app. So it's also a good source of inspiration for you. Okay. Okay, so up to now I was talking about how to do tree observations. I was talking about the activities, but it's also important to know why are we actually doing it? What is the point of tree observations? So phenology is, let's say, the science between the green up observations, and the phenology of trees is the science about how trees are responding to seasonal changes. And it gives us important information about some trends, let's say, related to climate change. Here on my side, you can see a graph about the oldest phenology observation in our history, which is the observation of Japan's of the blossoming of Japan's cherry trees that has been carried out for hundreds of years. You can see that it started already around 800, and it continues up till now. And you can see that here on this graph, you can see down here the years, and on the vertical column of the graph, you can see the dates, the months, and the days. And it is visible that the cherry trees in Japan blossom year by year, earlier and earlier. So this gives us an important information about the climate change. So this is also a very important use of or purpose of phenology, to see some changing trends in our climate. And of course, the greening up of trees is monitored by satellites. So they also give us some informations about green up. But in order for the scientists to know whether the satellites are actually right or are accurate, it is important to have some observations in the field. So what you're doing is really important. So it's you who are providing this information to scientists that they can compare to satellite data. So you are helping NISA scientists, you're helping GLOBE scientists with your observations. Yeah. Okay. This is another activity that you can do in the campaign if you have time. You can measure the height of your tree. There are two ways to do that. One is manual or analog way using a tool called Clinometer that you can actually create yourself. This activity will include a guide on how to do that, and also a guide how to use it, how to measure and calculate your tree manually with this Clinometer. And you can also measure the height of your tree digitally by the Globe Observer app. So it's up to you. You can even do both and see whether you get the same result. Another activity that you can do is called Air Conditioned by Trees, which is about how trees affect the microclimate in their surroundings, and how they help us cool down our cities that are becoming hotter and hotter due to climate change, as we might know, as you might have already experienced. So here you can discover the differences between temperatures in the parts of your town where there are no trees or less trees, and let's say in a park. So this might give you some important information to your students about the importance of trees in mitigating the effects of climate change and adapting to it in our cities. Okay. The campaign gives you the opportunity to collaborate with another tree observer team, as you mentioned earlier. You can exchange data and pictures via email. You can even meet each other on Zoom, Skype, or another platform that you use. You can practice your English or some other common language if you find it among your students. You can even create a joint project together. So it's up to you what you use your cooperation for. And now we got to how to do that. I will stop sharing my screen, and I want to show you the campaign website for a moment. Okay, just a moment. I get there. Yeah, so can you see my screen? Can you see the web page of the campaign? Yeah, okay. So this is the main website that you might already know. Here are some information that I already shared with you. You can find already here all the activities that I presented if you want to look at them already now. Otherwise, as I said, you will get them by newsletter one by one. And before I was talking to you about how to find a collaboration partner. So you can do that by going to the News and Discussion tab on the website. This is the platform where you will share your data as well. So here you need to choose 2025 spring, and this will give you access to the discussion forum. You can see here already many tree observers uploaded their information about the trees they are observing, and also here you can find a collaboration partner. Simply just create a post by introducing yourself. Introduce your school, your country, the age of your students, number of students, and the tree species that you're observing. And you can wait for someone to respond to that. And after you exchange contacts, then you can start a collaboration. So it's really easy. Now I would like to also say a few words about the webinars. you can find more information about them on the webinars tab. So apart from the introductory webinar that is today, we planned for you 2 more webinars. The next one will be on 23rd of April, and it will be on the topic of the importance of phenology in understanding the Earth as a system, and also the importance of working with globe data, the importance of submitting the observations into the database, and the importance of sharing them with the scientists. We will send you the reminder soon that you can sign up for this webinar. And the 3rd webinar that we planned for you is a sharing webinar. It will be at the end of the campaign on June the 2nd, that you can join with your students, and you can share your experience in the spring campaign and listen to the stories of others. But also on this webinar tab, you can find information about upcoming webinars in other regions, let's say in the North American region. You are also welcome to join other webinars and get inspiration also from other regions that are running the spring campaign. Apart from the webinars, discussion forums, I want to raise your attention also about the Padlet of the campaign, which is a great source of inspiration. I will just open it here. These are the contributions from school teams from the past campaigns. So you can just browse them through either the spring campaign or the autumn campaign. You will find a lot of interesting topics and experiences. So you can use that also as a source of inspiration. Okay. I think that was all about the resources that I wanted to mention. And I think that's all from my side now. That's all about the activities or the green up activities of the campaign. And now I would like to give word to you in case you have any questions. You can unmute yourself and ask, or you can put your questions in the chat. So please go ahead. I don't know, Lenka, if we had some questions in the chat. I was not able to check them, but you might notice some questions.
Okay, yeah, there's a question from Maria Jukic, and she's asking if it's necessary to take photograph of the tree to determine the position, and that she saw that in the protocol, and she's wondering whether it's necessary to like take pictures by GrowWeb and also like upload them to the database. So.
To determine the position, you mean in what way, like the altitude or the coordinates, or in what sense?
Perhaps I can take it. Yeah. So well, clearly there are like 2 different applications or 2 different tools how to capture the pictures of your trees. And one of them is GrowApp, just to make clear for everybody. So one of them is the GrowApp, which is like a separate application. It's not created by Globe, but it's like used by scientists mainly here in Europe. So it's one tool for you. It's amazing way how to capture the season change of your tree. And then the other tool is the Globe database, right? Which is connected to Globe Observer. So you can upload your data. You can also upload your pictures. It's not necessary to take the photograph of the tree. For determination of the position, you need to mainly have the GPS coordinates. So this is what you need to do. You need to, if you want to enter the data, you need to have your GPS coordinates. You need to have your tree species. But it's always good if you also upload the pictures. It's good because the more information the scientists or even the other schools, for example, or maybe the students that will follow up on the observation in your place after 10 years, the more information they have, the better they can imagine how the tree looked like, how the data were collected. So it's always good to take pictures, but it's not necessary. It's not something you have to do. If you do it, it's of course great.
Okay.
Maria, did it answer? Pardon,
Yes, I
did
see.
it answer
I
the
see
question?
Maria responding to the chat that yeah, that she meant the coordinates, and thanks for the explanation. So thank you, Lenka. Are there any other questions? Maybe someone wants to ask live.
There's one more question. If we will send the recording.
That we will do. Yes, definitely. You will get the recording in the next newsletter that we will send already this week. So you will have access to it soon.
And perhaps I will add a question that we received from you in the registration form. So, and I think it's pretty common question in the Phenology campaign. It was firstly, if it's possible to observe other 3 species, then, there are the 7 species of a campaign. And so if it's possible to observe another 3 species. So the answer is, of course, it's possible. You can observe any 3 species you like, any that's convenient for you, for your students. What is good if it's native 3 species, because then you can native 3 species really reflect how the conditions affect their growth. If it's some, 3 species in the botanical garden, then it's probably not telling so much about your nature around you. And if you choose one of the 7 tree species like highlighted by the campaign, you have better chances to compare your data. That's the advantage, but it's not necessary. So that was one question. And the other part of a question was if the tree has to be, like if it doesn't fulfill all the conditions, if it's, for example, shaded by a building, is it still possible to observe such tree? Is it still suitable for monitoring the change? And here the answer would be that, of course, you can still observe such a tree because maybe there's no other option close to your school. Maybe there's just a tree that's, shaded or regularly fertilized or something, watered. So you can observe it, you will learn something. But if you want to enter the data into the database, you want to share it with somebody, it's important that you make a note of it. So the people know that, because if the tree is shaded, it's probably a little bit influenced. Maybe the greening up is a bit delayed because of the shade. So it's important to let others know about it, right?
Okay, so I think if there are no questions for now.
Link, I have one question.
Yeah.
For
sure.
example, new participants, maybe they have the same idea, but they're a little bit ashamed to ask this question. I don't know why. For example, my friend from another school, okay, starting to observation of the trees, yes, and she needs, or he, doesn't matter, needs to create their own account. When, for example, I started to join with this project, it was 5 years ago, and coordinator from Georgia gave me my special accounts as a trainer and so on. And how can, for example, this person have create their own account? Because I know that for Georgia, it's not so easy, because when you start to make some process of registration, okay, for their own account, you need some improvement. and how can we help such kind of person? For example, I have my location, my school location, and I know this process. But for new participants, it's a little bit confused because, okay, they can use the site, okay, but when they starting to enter the data of this all observation, it will be the big question mark because they need their own account, okay?
So it's the globe coordinator, your country coordinator, that the same way you also got your account thanks to your globe country coordinator back then. So it's still the same process. They will need to reach out to the country coordinator. You can also give them the
yes,
content.
the same process, okay.
So that person will help them create the account, and from that moment on, they will be able to submit data.
Yes, because even now I know that my friend Georgi Lovjanidze, maybe you'll see on the screen, he live in the mountain region of Georgia, and he wants to or actively involved in this process. But I know that he can't register till the coordinator of the Georgia will give them a proof to create their own account.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That is the process.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I can't help him.
Right. It's the country coordinators who can create new
Thank you.
accounts.
Thank you.
Is there someone else who would like to ask us something? Or maybe at the end we can also have space for questions at the end of the webinar. But now we can move on to other activities that will be presented by Lenka. So I give the floor to Lenka right now.
Okay, thank you, Chila. And before I start with my presentation, I think we are sitting for a long time, so let's exercise a little bit, right? If you want, of course, it's voluntary. So now you can imagine it's spring, the trees are growing, so let's grow with them. You can stretch your hands. You can imagine these are branches and they're, expanding to the sides as the sun shines on you. Perhaps there is a wind, so you can even like a little bit move to the sides. Enjoy the wind, enjoy the fresh air of a spring, enjoy the sun, enjoy the movement because we need it as the trees need, the space around them. We need it too.
We need more at school.
Sure, and I know you all been perhaps sitting or had a lot of attention at your schools with your students. So I just let's have a little bit time to relax ourselves because now I will be giving you some more information. So it's good to have a little break. And yeah, if you feel okay, if you had your little exercise and you feel ready to listen a bit more, then I would like to tell you a bit about the role of trees in the carbon cycle. And I'm trying to share my presentation. Chila, can you just show me if you can see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you. Okay, so my presentation will be about the way how trees are connected with the carbon cycle and how important they are in this global cycle. And yeah, carbon, it's really important element for us. It's the fourth most abundant element in the whole universe, so it's all around us. And the carbon cycle, it's a way how to describe how carbon is moving around on the earth, how it's migrating between atmosphere, where of course it's present in a way of CO2, how it's like used or how is it called, given out by animals when they breathe, when they maybe die and decompose, how human contribute to this, how human produce a lot of carbon cycle. And of course, that's why we talk about this now, is how what's the role of green plants and over trees in this cycle? Because trees are super important, as you will find out during my presentation, and perhaps you already know it, trees are super important for the carbon cycle. And yeah, let's talk more about it later. So because of that, because we want to share it with you, because we want to share it with your students, we have prepared 4 short learning activities where students will have the opportunity to learn about the role of trees in the carbon cycle, from like getting to know the system of the tree that they observe, for example, and slowly moving to the global part of the carbon cycle. So you can see there are 4 activities. All of them are available on the campaign website. They are always connected with a green up activity. So if you have time, if you have energy, if you feel that the activities are suitable for your students, please give them a try. If you don't want, of course, nothing happens if you don't go for them and you just stay with the green up activities. It's completely voluntary for you. And we've been talking a lot, so I have now a question for you. So you can talk, or you can perhaps write in a chat. I already told you that trees are important in the carbon cycle, but what is it that make them so important? How comes that trees have this importance in the carbon cycle? What is it that they do that there's this connection? Now try to open chat. If I can see any answers from you, please write me to the chat if you have any ideas. What is it that makes trees so important? Why do we talk about them in connection with the carbon cycle? Any ideas? Hey, I will not. Okay, I see. Photosynthesis, of course. I was too quick. Thank you, Alenka. And yeah, photosynthesis, that's the magic that basically plants can do. Thanks to that, basically all the living creatures on the earth have food, because through photosynthesis, plants use carbon dioxide from the air, and they use water that they suck by their roots, and thanks to sunlight, they create a sugar, glucose, that they build into their body. So that way, carbon from the air, from the carbon dioxide, is taken. The carbon dioxide is taken out from the air, and it's built in to the biomass, to the leaves, and to the roots of trees. And of course, this happens also with other plants, and that provides food for animals. And this is the big carbon chain. So that's the magic of plants. That's how trees help us to keep also the levels of carbon dioxide in the air. Of course, to tell the full thing, the photosynthesis is something that happens during the day, but trees also breathe. So there's a respiration going on through the night and day. And while in photosynthesis, trees create a sugar and they release oxygen. So for the respiration, it's the same like for us humans. So trees need oxygen, which they use, and they produce carbon cycle and water vapor. But still, the number of carbon dioxide that is released is much, much lower than the level of carbon dioxide that is taken from the air by the trees. And this might maybe seem too complicated, especially if you are teaching younger students. But in the first carbon activity that we have for you, we have prepared a game where your kids can try it. And we believe it's suitable also for quite young students, so they can run, they can play, they can draw their own tree and just collect, you can see here maybe little white balls, like carbon dioxide molecules, and they can collect raindrops and let their tree grow. So it's a way how even younger kids can learn that their tree is important, and how the tree actually grows. What is it that make it build the wood and the leaves? So that's the first activity from our carbon activities. And we know kids like it, and we have received in the past campaigns many pictures, just like this one, where the tree kitchen is working and the oxygen is being produced from a pot of CO2. So I think kids enjoy these activities. So another question for you, where else can we find carbon other than the atmosphere or trees that I have just mentioned? Any ideas?
Carbon dioxide everywhere in air, yes, after the exhausting of fuel, burning the fuels in factories.
Sure, yeah. There's a lot of human activities. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marie. Yeah, oil, coal, of course. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, I'm sure you have many other ideas, and yeah. But let's see this scheme. This was created by NASA for the GLOW program, or by GLOW program in cooperation with NASA. And yeah, the answer to my question is carbon is everywhere. It's all around us. It's in the atmosphere, as Marina was mentioning. It's in the air, it's in the sediments, in the water, it's in the plants, all around us. And so the second carbon activity, the aim of it is to show students that it's also all around them and how it actually moves in the cycle, right? So in this activity, students will learn about the flow of carbon between the different Earth spheres, and about so-called fluxes, which means kind of the streams or the ways how carbon travels, and pools, which is kind of like storages or places on Earth where carbon is being stored. So in this scheme, you can see there's like the Earth's crust is a huge pool. The pools are always in blue. Fossil fuels, of course, are pools of carbon. Also, ocean is a huge pool of carbon, and the atmosphere as well, or plants. And you can see there also the fluxes, like from burning of fossil fuels, we release a lot of CO2 into the atmosphere. The volcanoes, of course, also release some CO2. By fires, deforestation, that's another way how to really, how people or even naturally the carbon is released into the atmosphere. While on the other hand, apologies, photosynthesis is removing carbon from the air. There are also fluxes like between the soils and sea, through the rivers, through the kind of sedimentation. So the cycle is really complicated, right? We will not go now through all the fluxes and all the pools, and it's not even aimed to do it really in the detail with your kids. But what you can do is you can look around your place, around your school, and you can draw a map of, like, figure out what the main carbon releases are and what the main places where the carbon is uptaken from the atmosphere are. So you can draw your pictures like this. This is some village and surrounding, or you can use, for example, Google Maps and do the drawing and print the map and do the drawing there. So you can see there is some carbon release from some cars and industry. Animals, of course, produce a lot of carbon dioxide, and there are some carbon uptakes by nature, by trees. Yeah, some set animal by the cutted forest. So that's how you can discover what's going on with carbon around you. Perhaps it will make students think about what could be done better, if there could be some more trees, some more greenery around them. So that's activity 2. In activity 3, students will learn about the way how carbon storage, carbon balance changes during the life of a tree. Because, of course, this changes. As a tree starts as a little seedling, it grows very fast, right? When the tree is young, it has really big or massive even carbon intake because it grows fast. It takes a lot of carbon from the air. It needs to build a lot of wood. It needs to build a lot of leaves. So the intake is really big. And as the tree grows, gets older, it matures, then it stores more carbon, but the number of or the amount of carbon that is stored increases really slowly because the growth is not so big, it's not so massive. With the aging tree, the CO2 balance is almost close to zero. It doesn't grow too much. Some branches perhaps fall off, so the carbon is released again. So yeah, it comes close to zero. And when the tree dies, then the carbon is slowly released to the soil or back into the air. So also during the life of a tree, this changes a lot, as you can see. So in the activity tree, you can have a look at this phenomena with your students. You will find there a calculator of age of your tree based on the circumference of the trunk. So you can find out how approximately your tree is old, and then you can calculate how much carbon is stored in it. And we also have a nice visualization of carbon in the life of a tree. So let me try if I can play it for you. I will stop sharing and try to share it with you. So this is a visualization made by NASA. You will find a link also in the activity. And that's basically what I was talking about. There's a lot of carbon first taken by the tree. It lowers or slows down as it ages, and then yeah, the tree is still growing, but a bit slower, and it dies, and now you can see the smoke, the carbon going up back to the atmosphere. So it just maybe a bit easier way how to show it to your students. So let me go back to my presentation. And I had for you one more question. What time of the year do the trees like build into their biomass the biggest amount of carbon? And I know we are running over time, so I will not wait for your answers. I'm pretty sure you know them. So let's go further. This is our last for carbon activity. I must say this activity is intended rather for older students. It's a little bit more complicated, and it brings the attention of students to carbon dioxide observations that are done by scientists at Mauna Loa Observatory at Hawaii, where the observations started in 1950s and they still continue. And there at Mauna Loa, the scientists measure how much CO2 is, how is the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere. And you can see here in the first graph, you can see black line that's steadily growing. On the vertical axis, this is a CO2 concentration, and on the x-axis you can see the years. So over the years, the CO2 concentration is still growing, I believe we all know it. It's a known fact that the CO2 level increases. But you can see there is a zigzag red line. And what's that? That shows us that actually the concentration, it's not steady over the years, right? It changes like this. Each year it goes up and down, up and down. And why is that? This oscillation corresponds with something that's we call the green wave in vegetation. And this is actually what you will observe now in your spring campaign. This is the greening up of vegetation, the greening up of trees. Because the trees, the forests in the northern hemisphere, they are super important when it comes to regulation of CO2 in the atmosphere. So when they start greening up in the spring, here, like in the May, the trees start greening up. They start taking a lot of carbon dioxide from the air because they need it for building their leaves for the photosynthesis. So the concentration of CO2 decreases. And then you can see in September, when there's the end of a growing season, the trees are getting for their winter sleep. Then again, the photosynthesis lowers and the curve goes up. So like this, it goes up and down every year, and you can see how very important the trees are in this cycle. So in spring and summer, biosphere takes up more CO2 than it releases. In winter, biosphere releases more CO2 to the atmosphere than it absorbs. And forests are so important in keeping the amount of carbon in balance, the amount of carbon dioxide, and provide the exchange of carbon between the different spheres of the air. So this is the content of activity 4. There are also really nice visualization where you can see how the globe is greening, and also a kind of cloud of carbon cycle visualized there. So it's much easier if you see the visualization. It's nice to show to the students, however, to the older ones. Well, so to finish my presentation, you will find all this information on the Globe website together with the Green Up activities. And we will share this presentation with you, so you have there also some resources that you can see other than those that I have just mentioned, like Globe elementary activities for the smallest kids. There are links to the e-trainings. There's also e-training for carbon cycle, so you can find a lot of more if you want about this topic on the Globe website. So thank you very much. Thank you for being here, for listening to my presentation. And of course, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Traží odborníky. Like byli prošli. Aha.
I don't see any question. I don't know, Chila, was there some question?
I saw Marie raising a hand. Is it? Did you want to ask something, Marie?
clapping.
Okay. Sorry, I missed.
Thank you.
Okay, so I haven't seen. There was one question in the chat earlier on. The question was whether we can observe the same trees as in the Globe autumn campaign. And the answer is yes, sure. You can do that. It will be interesting for you to find out also how your trees green up during the spring, not only how they go to sleep. So of course, it's very good to get to know your trees better. And I don't see any other questions.
And we know it was a lot of information, so maybe the questions will come later on. So please feel free to let us know.
Yes, so as mentioned earlier, we will send you the recording, we will send you the presentation where you can find the link to all these resources. If any questions, you can reach out to me. I will also put my contact in the chat. And if you are subscribed to the newsletter, if you sign up for the campaign, then you will also receive the newsletter, and you will have the contact, my contact, so you can also write to me. And I also pasted my email in the chat. And I hope that you are looking forward. I hope you are looking forward to start your spring observations, and we are very curious about your experiences. Please share it with us, share it on the Padlet, on the discussion forum, and hope to see you on the next webinar that will be on April 23rd. You will receive the registration link shortly to that as well.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much as well for joining us today. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.